These are some roommate horror stories that gave me trust issues.
Hey everybody, welcome back.
I, female 25, returned from a month-long trip, and my roommate, female 22, has moved all of her things into my room and has been living there with no intention of switching back.
What?
So, I moved into this flat about 8 months ago. I met Lana online on a roommate website, and we clicked well. She's a bit younger, but seemed mature. We quickly agreed to be roommates. Both of us were under time constraints to find a place to live, but have gotten on really well so far. Up until this. Our flat is a 2-bedroom, and to be frank, my room is clearly the better one. It is bigger and has built-in wardrobes. Are you paying more too? When looking for the flat, I found the place first on my own and put down a deposit to take it off the market while I found another roommate. The flat was perfect, cheap rent, and my aunt manages the property, so I was keen to snap it up before anyone else did. The area it's in is popular, so I wasn't worried about not finding someone to room with. Because of the above and that I was there first, I took the bigger room, naturally. When showing potential roommates, including Lana, around, I was sure to show her the smaller room and say, this would be your room. We moved in 8 months ago and it's been happy families. Never heard Lana complain about her room. Because I have about 6 times the wardrobe space she does, I told her she's welcome to store her off-season clothes in there, or whatever she wants to store, as long as she's not popping in every morning to get dressed. She was happy with this. Ooh, give him an inch and they'll take a mile. Oh, that's weird. Is she sleeping in your bed too? Ooh. Just over a month ago, I went traveling. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of having people in my room, but I told Lana if she had someone stay, her sister or friends from home, they could sleep in my bed. She said thanks, and she's been such a great roommate and rarely has guests except for her boyfriend. I didn't worry at all. I came back yesterday. I was exhausted from the flight and traveling, and just wanted to shower and sleep. As I walked in, Lana was in the living room with her boyfriend. We said hello and hugged, had a very quick catch up, blah, blah, blah. Then I dragged my suitcase into my room and opened the door and found it full of stuff that was not mine. I kind of yelled, "What the f?" and briefly thought I was so jet lagged I was confused, but I opened the door to Lana's room and saw all my stuff. Oh, absolutely not. Like, she literally didn't even mention it to you? She just let you come home and like discover? Oh God, that is so awkward. I feel like she brought her boyfriend there as backup. You gave her an inch and she took a mile. But it is one thing to like kind of sleep there once in a while, which is already an invasion of privacy, but then to just stay there, that's weird. I walked into the living room and asked Lana what was going on, and she said,
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention.
We put my stuff in your room just because it's bigger and you weren't here and you said I could use it. Okay, but if that's the case, then we move the stuff out. We also like maybe let our roommate know that we're doing this and make sure it's okay first. I was honestly so tired, I could have passed out then, so I probably wasn't in the best state. I told her to move it all back immediately. She said they were in the middle of making dinner and I looked tired, so I should have a sleep. Her boyfriend then said, and anyway, you pay the same rent, so it isn't fair that you both get the big room at some point. Oh yeah, no, her boyfriend got in her head. This is hella weird. Remember what I said about her bringing her boyfriend as backup? The thing is that she moved in knowing that you guys pay the same amount in rent. She shouldn't have agreed to take that room if she wasn't okay with the price. I'm assuming you guys like signed a lease and everything. I was getting very frustrated and I could feel tears welling up, hysterical from lack of sleep. So I just said, we'll deal with this tomorrow and it's getting moved back. And then I went to sleep, not in my room. I also kind of like low-key love that your aunt is seemingly the person that owns the building or the landlord. Yeah, manages the property, yeah. I've woken up now and I'm so pissed off. Lana's at work. I'm sorry, I'm just like thinking to myself that you should move her stuff back. So I can't talk to her, but what should I do when she's home? I mean, you should move her stuff back into her room. Move her stuff out onto the lawn for all I care. I feel like this is gonna turn into an argument. I don't think it'll be as simple as, okay, let's swap, now you're home. Edit, I've taken the advice of most of the people on this thread and I moved my stuff back. It's taken hours and I'm knackered. But I think if I left it another night, it would be a real problem. I sent her a text when I was almost done, in case she kicked up a storm and came home, to say, "Hi Lana, hope you're having a nice day at work. Just to let you know, I'm moving my stuff back into my room. Didn't want you coming home and walking into the wrong one." Yes, I'm petty. I'll be talking to her when she gets in because this is out of character for her. Her boyfriend's in her ear. I've literally been in such a similar situation. I lived in like an absolutely tiny room. Like it was terrible. I barely had room to stand up and put clothes on. This is how small the room was. The room directly above me, like so the same size room, was a baby's room. Okay, right in the middle of our lease. This is after we had signed a lease. We agreed to a rent amount. My roommate at the time decided, because her boyfriend got in her ear and said I should be paying more in rent for this already horrible living situation. And it did cause like a massive fight. It didn't matter that we already had signed a lease and this was in the middle of the lease and we had agreed to certain amounts in rent, and she can't actually legally ask me to do that, which is what I said. The moment I said she legally can't ask me to do that, I swear to God, this girl almost punched me. She like lunged at me, and that's when I decided to move out. So it's difficult to say how she will handle this, to be honest, but quite frankly, she cannot legally ask you to switch rooms when she agreed to take the room that you gave her. I'll be talking to her when she gets in because this is so out of character for her, to the point of it being bizarre. She's never been anything but a model roommate, so I'm gonna give her a chance before we were donezo. If she wants to be reasonable and have a chat about rent portions, I'm happy to do that. Exactly. Like if you're feeling like some type of way about the rent portion, you're getting a bigger room so you should pay more, then that's a discussion that like you should have. Moving your stuff out and arguing that,
Oh, you should share the bigger room because you're paying the same in rent.
no. She's never had a problem with the rent before. And honestly, I've never had uneven rent amounts in any place I've ever lived in, whether I had the bigger room or smaller room. But a lot of people here are saying it's the norm, so I'm open to talking about it if she's not ridiculous. Okay, so as you know, I text Lana to tell her I moved my stuff back. She didn't reply, fine, whatever, but she didn't kick off, so I figured we were okay. I told my aunt what happened, who was as baffled as all of you. I told her it was probably all sorted and just keeping her in the loop. I also told my boyfriend, who works about 5 minutes down the road. Good, you need backup as well.
We're here! Oh, everyone calm down, we're here. The backup has arrived.
He offered to come around in case Lana's boyfriend came around, but I told him not to because then we were ganging up on Lana. He insisted on going for a coffee with his mate a couple roads away in case we needed backup, which is a bit ridiculous, but very cute of him. It's not ridiculous, honestly, like, it's something very small, but like having backup is super important. You never know, right? Like it's even good to have a witness. These things can get kind of sketchy. I did get myself a glass of wine while waiting for Lana, not because I was nervous, I just like wine, and she came home. I was sat in the living room and gave her a very cold hi when she walked in. She froze, bag in hand, and her eyes darted between me and our bedroom door. She blurted, "Did you do it?" And I said, "What, move the rooms back?" "Yeah, of course." And her eyes went all wide and she dropped her bag and ran into the bathroom. I could hear her talking on the phone, so I was like,
Yippee, I guess Tom's coming round. Fun.
I heard the door unlock and I was about to go full Hulk on how psycho she is when she came out of the door and stood between our bedrooms. Their doors are adjacent and she just stared between them both, breathing heavily. It was really odd. Then I noticed she was crying and getting a bit panicky, so I asked what was going on. She burst into tears and said, "Oh my God, he's going to kill me," and sobbed. So yeah, it was the boyfriend's idea completely, as a lot of us suspected. She's honestly always been a perfect roommate, which is why I came to this sub. If she was generally a butthead, I would have known how to act, if you know what I mean. Anyway, Lana has a bit of a breakdown, and it turns out POS Tom has always been a bit of a POS, very jealous, which I always saw hints of, but Lana never mentioned it, so I didn't. And he's amped up his POS-ness while I've been away. When I left, he finished school and basically moved in unannounced. And when she'd mentioned he hadn't been home in days, he gave her the
"What, don't you love me? I treat you so well. You're so selfish, blah, blah, blah."
and refused to move. She showed me the text he sent her. Absolutely scary stuff. Things like, "Ring me in the next 5 minutes or we're over. Send me a picture of you at your desk with something showing today's date so I know you're at work." Okay, no, we don't love this. On to the room, as we guessed, He moved it. He did it while she was at work, which is actually a bit gross thinking of him going through my stuff. And I'm considering somehow implying I have crabs or something he could catch to make him squirm a bit, but I'll work on it. Lana came home and said, "What are you doing?" He made it out that it was just temporary and I wouldn't mind. Such a gentleman speaking on my behalf. Okay, no, he gotta go. Remember when I said it's a good thing you have backup? He was doing it for her and she was selfish, blah, blah, blah. When it got to a few days before I came back, Lana suggested moving it back and he completely denied and told her it was her idea to move it and he only did what she told him, but it's staying now or she'd be sorry. So basically, Tom is a prick and Lana sobbed and apologized and cried and I fed her wine. Oh, goody. Okay. So but what are we gonna do about Tom though? She didn't want to see Tom, who obviously assumed he lived there now. Ooh, no. Oh, no. So I text him from her phone saying our landlady, my aunt, was coming around for an inspection and staying for dinner after with my family, and he couldn't come over tonight. He sent a lot of begging, whiny texts and went on the offensive and called Lana a liar. So I rang my aunt, explained everything, and had her write us a fake landlord email mentioning the visit and how she was looking forward to fajitas, which we forwarded to Tom. He left her alone for the rest of the night, apart from a few texts. I'm not entirely sure what we do about Tom. Lana sounds like she wants to break up, judging by her crying and screaming.
I hate him.
Into her wine. I think she's scared though. I checked with her and he doesn't have a key, so that's a relief. Ooh, yeah, this is a very unfortunate and kind of scary situation. I've told my aunt everything and she said she's happy to ban him from the flat, but Lana would need to break up with him first and get that all sorted. Yeah, no, he gotta go. Especially because I would be really uncomfortable with having him over as well, in general. Like, not just for your roommate, but also because of you. I can picture this not ending well, but we do have an update 2 months later, and it gets juicy. Shortly after my last post, Lana broke up with Tom. She was quite scared to do it because he's a psycho, and it took 2 weeks between the last post and the actual breakup. During that time, she didn't let him come around or see her. Luckily, she remembered Tom never had chickenpox as a kid, so we pretended my nephew had caught chickenpox and had to stay with us because my brother's wife had never had it and couldn't risk getting shingles. It worked, and he stayed away. She told her family and close friends about what he'd been like, and then texted him saying she wanted to break up. Well, he blew the frick up. Called her every name under the sun, switched back to apologizing and saying she was the love of his life, and then said she'd never find someone like him. Like, for better or worse. Then he would die without her, and they were soulmates, etc., etc. It was insane. He started messaging me too, telling me I was an evil B-word who'd ruin his perfect wife. Lol, K. And as predicted, her family and friends got messages. We both turned off our phones to ignore it and just watched TV. Later, I briefly switched mine on, where I had a lot of messages from my friends telling me to block some guy on my social media. It was Tom calling me every combination of the C word he could think of all over my public Instagram page. There were even a few racial slurs, which was odd because we're both white, but okay. What? Okay, I love a little comic relief in this. Lana already had blocked him on everything, but silly me forgot to make my Insta private. The next day, he rang Lana's office. She was so embarrassed, it was awful. To tell her he was driving down to our flat. She rang me and I rang my aunt, who you remember manages the property, who told us it was time to call the police. Bad boys. We filed a report about Tom and they said to update us on the situation. In the UK, you need to go to court to actually get a restraining order, so we haven't as such. But the evidence is all there and documented if we need to go that far. The police rang Tom at our request, told him they'd seen the messages and to turn his car around because if he turned up at our door, he'd be arrested. Wow. Okay, wow. This is like very quick action.
That's not how we do things.
I was a little worried the police wouldn't do anything, but this is great. Tom managed to crap himself hard enough to not show up after that. So we were fine for a week. Then the post came. Tom started sending letters.
Wonder who it's from.
Threats and soppy I love you crap. Flowers, a pizza that we had to pay for. We were actually hungry, so we ate it. He signed us up to a magazine subscription. It was bizarre. We went to the police again. They filed everything, but Lana didn't want to go to court. I don't blame her. She was stressed by the whole thing. So 2 weeks ago, I took my aunt and mother out for dinner. I told them both about the situation, and my goddess of an aunt had an idea. Tell me. She manages about 30 properties, not just the one we live at, and has a few that were unoccupied with school finishing. She told me she would show us around all the 2 bedrooms she had, and we can live in any of them for the same rent we pay now. Oh, what a legend. And just transfer over our deposit and fees, as long as there were no damages to deduct, and we helped do a deep clean to get it ready for the next tenant. We found one within a 5-minute drive that's just as lovely, and to anyone concerned about the previous rent dispute, has equally sized bedrooms. So we moved. It really sucks that it had to get to this point. Like, that's super inconvenient. I wish people would just like take the hint, you know? Which is why the last 2 weeks have been manic, but we're settled in now. Tom has now been informed we've moved because the stuff he's sent has been returned. Lana and I are completely no contact with him, and anyone who visits is sure to not pass on our address. Also, I apologize to Lana about the issue with paying same amounts of rent. She says she's never had a problem with it, and that's how she always done it through uni and with other roommates. She refused to take any money from me, but I decided I will be funding the weekly flat wine sessions for the future. Oh, this worked out. It's been a long month, and even though my traveling tan has faded, things are great now. Let's all pray I have a calmer living situation from now on. Fingers crossed for you, bestie. Tom is a scary guy. I'm glad that you didn't need to call in backup. I mean, you kind of did with the police. And I'm glad that it wasn't Lana and that you guys were able to work it out and you're still roommates and stuff. This is really nice. This is really nice. I was a little worried about Lana, I'm not gonna lie, but her behavior makes sense. Am I the a-hole for being angry that my roommate was sleeping under my bed for months without telling me? I, 24 male, have lived with my roommate Carl, 24 male, for 2 years.
Carl, what did you do?
A few months into rooming with him, he told me he was pansexual. I said, okay, cool. I'm not interested in that personal information, nor am I judgmental. I said, all right. A few times over the last year, he's asked me if I'd ever considered experimenting with other men. Oh. I said no. Also, I said I didn't feel comfortable with him asking me such a personal question. It's not like we are close friends, we're only roommates by happenstance, basically. Anyway, every time I said this, he basically said,
We'll see.
I was like, what? We'll see is crazy. Anyways, last night I had a very scary experience. I heard a noise under my bed. Oh no, he the boogeyman. It was movement. No, absolutely not. At first I thought I was imagining things, but then I heard it again. Ooh. I thought, oh God, is it a mouse or a rat or something? Oh my God. This was at like 3 a.m. So I got out of bed and looked under with my phone flashlight. Now, this is the most startling moment of my life. I guess I'm lucky because I've never before this moment felt true terror and fear as a physical sensation, but I was completely jolted. There, under my bed, was my roommate staring at me, wide-eyed, and he screeched when I looked under the bed. Ah! Oh. I don't mean to laugh, but this is insane. This is insane, okay? I thought I was having a heart attack. I then started hearing sorry. My roommate crawled out from under the bed, crying and apologizing over and over. Yeah, there's no coming back from that. I was so creeped out and afraid I ran out of the apartment in my pajamas. This is crazy! There was a Dunkin' Donuts that was open 24/7 a few blocks away, so I sat there with a decaf and breakfast sandwich and my heart thundering away. My roommate kept texting me, asking to talk. I ignored it. Ooh, yeah, no. I fail to understand why the
We'll see
is like, oh yeah, you're gonna like this. I'm gonna hide under your bed like a weirdo. You're gonna like it. Okay. In the text, he found a way to horrify me even further. He confessed he'd been sleeping under my bed a few nights a week for 3 or 4 months. Oh my God. And he was doing it to get closer to me and physically saturate each other.
This is crazy.
I waited for him to go to work and I ran into the apartment, got my essentials and left. Yeah. I am currently crashing with a buddy. Our lease is up in 1 month. My intention is to simply not renew. Yeah, no, I would not. Yeah, you're gonna be couch surfing, buddy. This dude is blowing up my phone. And I'm getting texts from other people, some friends of mine and some bozos who are friends with him. He's going around telling people I shamed him and I'm rejecting his apologies. To anyone that has a problem with it, just say that he was hiding under your bed for 4 months while you slept. Some people are claiming I overreacted and invalidated his feelings. I don't think any feelings need to be validated in this regard. Most people agree he was improper, but think I should work it out with him and give him a second chance because he's sensitive. Okay, what? They just don't know the full story. Ask those people if they would be totally fine with some weirdo sleeping under their bed while they slept. I feel like I'm losing my mind and I'm seriously 20% convinced I'm experiencing a long lucid dream of some sort and wondering if I'm gonna wake up or I'm in a coma or something because this is so insane to me. Like, not really, but maybe really. Like, I mean, what the f? So am I the a-hole or is everyone around you a nut? They clearly don't know the full story. And if they know the full story and they're still like okay with it and think that you should like work it out with him, no. This is not someone you've known your whole life. And even if it was,
that's like nightmare fuel.
I'm gonna have nightmares just like thinking about this story for the rest of my life.
He's a boogeyman!
I think it goes without saying that in this situation, I'd want nothing to do with him or anybody else who somehow makes what he did okay. You're not the a-hole. My girlfriend of 1.5 years just broke up with me to be with my roommate. I just heard them through the wall. As the title says, we broke up. It was about 6 months ago and it was semi-amicable. We broke up because she was developing feelings for my roommate. Admittedly, they are more compatible and he's an upgraded version of me, so I can see why it happened.
Do not let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband.
Oh, bestie, don't talk about yourself like that. This isn't an evil thing. Both asked my permission to start dating and don't do PDA while I'm around. I still consider both of them friends and I just want them to be happy. For the most part, they are quiet at night. If I really listen, I can hear what's going on, but they generally save it for when they are alone. Except for last night. We went out to the bar for his birthday and they got pretty drunk. I was the DD because I don't really drink. Anyway, last night we got home at close to 2 a.m. and we all went to bed. I made sure they both got into bed, put water, Advil, and buckets out just in case. Oh, you sound like a really solid guy. I then put sleeping bags out for the other people and did the same. As I was brushing my teeth, my ex walked in, hugged me, and said she was sorry. She thanked me for always being so nice and she promised to help me find a new girlfriend when I was ready. When I finally got to bed, I could hear muffled talking, mostly about how great the night was. Then it got quiet, and then it started. I don't know how long it lasted, but it was louder than normal. I've been okay with the breakup until now. I'm glad they're happy, but last night I fell asleep crying. Oh, bestie. Oh, this is sad. I woke up this morning, made breakfast for everyone, and started to clean up. I think in this situation, you've been really like kind and understanding for other people. It might be time for either you to move or them to move. I completely respect that that's not what you want to be hearing. I'm not going to tell you to just suck it up. I think that it might be time to find a new place to live, or I just can't really see that like confrontation going well, asking them to move out. Yeah, I would probably leave. Like, it sucks that you're in this position, but like, I wouldn't want to hear that either. You know, some people might say like,
They should move. They should leave.
or maybe they could like move where the bed is. You've been pretty understanding up until now. I think that it might be time to just dip out of that spot. So we do have an update. Taking everyone's advice, I announced that I was going to be moving out. My now ex-roommate pulled me aside and asked if it was because of his relationship. I told him yes, but I'm not going to make him sacrifice his happiness just for me. He decided to help me look for a new place, and we found one. It's a 1-bedroom apartment that is closer to my work. My landlord is XRM's ex-roommate, family friend. After XRM explained the situation, I ended up getting a slight discount on rent for the first year. Ooh, doesn't sound so bad. Ex-roommate and ex-girlfriend and a few other friends helped me move in. I had a housewarming party and was specifically asked that I not prepare anything. 7 people came over with dinner, dessert, and booze. Ex-roommate and ex-girlfriend also cleaned up after everyone finished eating. Oh, that sounds really nice. Sounds like they really like you and want to keep you in their lives, and they're doing what they can to mend the relationship. My ex-girlfriend stayed a bit later than everyone and apologized for putting me through everything. She said she didn't really think about how it made me feel. She told me she's talked to a few friends about finding me someone, and she